Office issuing a statement today reading in part, quote, the governor does not have time for partisan politics or people who don't wear masks, don't believe in science, and don't have a plan to fight the virus. Right now, she is focused on saving lives, unquote. Well, just 2 days from the pause and the latest COVID numbers from the state showing that it might be indeed very much needed.
It's the highest reported total that we've seen. However, keep in mind, this is over the course of 2 days combined. The state is reporting 12,763 new cases in the last 48 hours. That's just for Sunday and Monday. So that brings our total COVID case count in Michigan to more than 264,000 since the pandemic started.
And the state also reporting 55 new confirmed deaths in the last 48 hours, bringing our total deaths now to more than 8,000 Michiganders. 45 of the 55 reported deaths were all people over the age of 70.
And the positivity rate has dropped just a little over the past couple of days. More than 117,000 COVID tests were performed in the last 48 hours, putting our positivity rate just under 13%, down, at least in West Michigan, to about 15%, I should say. And another promising step towards a COVID-19 vaccine today. Moderna announced that it has a version of the vaccine and it's nearly 95% effective. The second vaccine in the U.S. to have a stunningly high success rate. Just last week, you'll remember Pfizer announced early data shows their vaccine is 90% effective. Another big leg up for Moderna's version, though, is how it'll be stored. They are saying that it can be kept in a freezer, that it's available in most doctors' offices and pharmacies. It also has a shelf life of 30 days in the fridge, and it can also be stored at room temperature for up to 12 hours. Right now, Pfizer's will only last 5 days in cold storage.
Hurricane Iota is bringing flooding to Nicaragua tonight, and it makes landfall in the Central American country this evening. It's now a Category 5 hurricane, and it'll bring life-threatening storm surges as much as 15 to 20 feet, along with rainfall of 2 feet or more. It's the first Category 5 storm of the record-breaking hurricane season, and it's threatening many areas, keep in mind, of Central America that are still recovering from the devastating effects of Hurricane Eta a little more than just a week ago now.
We're going to check in now with Chief Meteorologist Kevin Craig with a little more on that, as well as our local forecast. Kevin.
Yeah, guys, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. But boy, this storm is an absolute monster. It's about 600 miles across. This is the Central American country of Nicaragua, and you could see a very, very well-defined eye. I would venture to guess it's probably about 30 miles across, and it is just about to make landfall. Remember, as this is moving this way, the northeast quadrant here is the worst. That's where they're getting 160 mile per hour sustained winds with some gust up around 195. Doug and Annie just mentioned the rain, the storm surge, that sort of thing. And these are the same Central American countries that were just inundated from about 2 to 3 feet of rain a little more than a week ago from Hurricane Eta, which was a Category 4. This is a Category 5. I will tell you something about this. This is the strongest hurricanes this late in the season in the Atlantic Basin. So this one's going to go down in history. We'll talk more about that in the main weather forecast. In Grand Rapids today, we made a high of 41, 43 in Lansing, much the same in Muskegon. Morning lows were down into the mid-30s. We've had a few light rain and snow showers out there. Hasn't been a whole lot, but it's certainly been enough to notice and wet the pavement down. That'll continue for the next few hours here. Maybe a drop or flake through about midnight or 1 a.m. or so. Otherwise, that little disturbance will lift off to the east, and we may even break up some of the cloud cover later tonight into the daybreak hours. Look at our current temperatures. 32 up there in Fremont, 33 in Big Rapids, 35 in Grand Rapids. Just keep in mind that if we have some wet pavement, it might be a little slippery out there. I don't really see icy conditions, but as some of these temperatures hover down into the low to mid-30s, there could be some slippery spots, especially on bridges and overpasses where that cold air can get underneath. Here's your Tuesday planner. 7 a.m. We're sitting around 30 degrees with partly cloudy skies. We're partly cloudy at noon with temperatures around 35 tomorrow, and only about 38 degrees tomorrow for the high. But unfortunately, with a west-northwest wind at 10 to 20 miles per hour, it's going to feel a lot cooler than that. There is a warm-up coming as we get later into the week. I think you'll enjoy that part of it. It'll come with some sunshine as well. We'll talk more about that part of the forecast, what's in store for the weekend, and more on the track of Hurricane Iota coming up at about 10:35. See you then. Annie?
All right, Kevin, thank you. A man from Muskegon County is still missing in Lake Michigan tonight.
He was one of 3 who fell off the pier last night around 10 p.m. 2 others made it out safely. Crews were still searching well into the night at Pier Marquette today. Officials say the 2 who did make it out last night were the ones who called 911. 29-year-old Lance Jenkins of Fruitport was still in the water hanging onto rocks when first rescuers got there. Crews say that 8 to 12-foot waves and wind gusts over 50 miles an hour made it very tough to get to him. No sign of Jenkins today.
A bus in Charlotte with children on side Charlotte Public Schools was involved in a crash today. Investigators believe a driver in a pickup went through a stop sign at Royston and Kinzel and then hit that bus. 2 kids were on board at the time. Neither they or the bus driver were hurt. The other driver suffered minor injuries. However, no word yet on any tickets. And on to the transition at the White House, where the Board of Canvassers still certifying votes here in Michigan, but the state's 16 Democratic electors are gearing up to cast their votes in about 1 month.
And tonight, our Irma Parsegian has a look at the process after meeting 2 electors from West Michigan.
President-elect Joe Biden is projected to beat President Donald Trump by nearly 150,000 votes here in Michigan. Michigan is a winner-take-all state, so all 16 electoral votes will be cast by the state's 16 Democratic electors, who were nominated at their party's convention back in August. Presidential elections are decided by the Electoral College, a system set up by the Founding Fathers in the Constitution. Electors hail from each state's congressional district. An additional 2 are at large.
A lot of people have this vision of the Electoral College as some lofty, ivory tower, you're not amongst the people type individuals, where it's regular, average, everyday people.
Like Granville history teacher Blake Mazurek, the elector from Michigan's 3rd Congressional District.
I teach about the Electoral College and the electoral process. And so this year when that lesson came up, and we were talking about the process, it was pretty fun to share at that moment with my students that I was going to be one of the electors.
After votes are certified, Blake and 15 other Democrats will convene in Lansing next month to sign Michigan's certificate to elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the pomp and ceremony of it all.
Kalamazoo Township Clerk Mark Miller is the elector for Michigan's 6th District.
And it is an honor, and I appreciate that and the confidence of my peers in the Democratic Party to select me to do this.
But he, like many others have since 2016 or even 2000, questioned whether the Electoral College is the best way to go about electing America's president.
I kind of agree with those who think that the Electoral College is something of an anachronism and something that if we could get it together to have a constitutional amendment would be better. We would be better off without. And simply the most votes across the country is our president, like we do with every other office.
There have been rumors that GOP legislators here in Michigan could go against the popular vote and handpick electors, but that's against Michigan law, and they've already dispelled those rumors. Speaker of the House Lee Chatfield saying recently that whoever wins the most votes will win the electoral votes, just as it's always been. In Grand Rapids, Irma Parsegian, Fox 17 News.
Right, and always good to, of course, refresh our history from school and just remember how it all works.
Exactly.
Yeah. Still ahead at 10, not every industry is in a hiring freeze.
So if you're hearing some sort of narrative that says that there's no jobs available, that's just not the case.
Yeah, the big virtual job fair that's happening this week and some of the companies that'll be there.
And the latest round of COVID restrictions getting ready to go into effect here in Michigan, which also impacts high school sports. What officials are doing about the tournaments that were set to happen in a few weeks.
And just a reminder, you can get more news and weather from Fox 17. Just download our app on your streaming device like Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV. You can find us there. We'll be right back.
President-elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris spent some time talking about the economy today.
The pair held a virtual meeting in Delaware with some business and union leaders. The meeting focused on economic recovery and long-term plans for rebuilding. When it comes to the biggest obstacle currently facing the economy, Biden said that it was key to get the COVID-19 crisis under control.
We're going into a very dark winter things are going to get much tougher before they get easier. And that requires sparing no effort to fight COVID so that we can open our businesses safely, resume our lives, and put this pandemic behind us. It's going to be difficult, but it can be done. And they all agreed. That means rallying the country behind a national strategy.
And today, Biden also said that no government contract will be given to companies that don't make their products in the U.S. And yeah, speaking of jobs, over the past 9 years, more than 1,200 people have participated in the Back to Michigan Career Fair.
Yeah, and this year it is changing, of course, as Derek Francis explains in tonight's Rebound Report. Derek?
Yeah, guys, while the need may be larger for both employers and people looking for work right now this year, so too is the event overall this year. Who leave the state of Michigan often return in late November to visit family, which is why traditionally Hello West Michigan's Back to Michigan job event is held the night before Thanksgiving.
This is a signature event for Hello West Michigan.
But like so many other things this year, it too is going digital.
Participating in a virtual career fair is very easy. All you need is a computer and an internet access. You don't have to be physically in West Michigan, which is kind of the great part.
The event features 8 regions of our state and is spread out over a week's time, running November 17th through the 24th, with West Michigan's jobs featured Thursday the 19th from 3 to 7 p.m.
We have 27 different companies that are participating in our West Michigan Back to Michigan event. So basically, you get to go around the event lobby. You can click on different companies, learn about them, learn about the opportunities that they have available. And then you can click a button that says get in line.
In fact, you can get in multiple lines at once to speak one-on-one with recruiters.
And then a recruiter can actually take it to a video chat if they want to. So definitely be ready for a video chat just in case they take it that way.
The event features positions ranging from IT to engineering, finance, supply chain, HR, marketing, manufacturing, healthcare.
Out of the 27 employers participating in West Michigan's event, we have everyone from Spectrum Health, the largest employer in West Michigan, all the way to small and mid-size employers. And it's not just companies in Grand Rapids either. We have companies participating from Ottawa County, Allegan, Newaygo, Montcalm, Lake, and Oceana counties.
Extra efficient because the week-long event covers the entire state and every career level.
From entry level to experienced. This event isn't just for young people, it's for all sorts of professionals. So if you're hearing some sort of narrative that says that there's no jobs available, that's just not the case.
That is good news. Welcome news to everybody, guys. It all starts tomorrow, actually, with jobs way up in the UP with different regions of Michigan every day going forward. Again, West Michigan jobs this Thursday from 3 to 7 o'clock p.m., the same day as the Detroit market. And as Rachel explains, you can easily participate in both if you desire. To get started, simply go to backtomichigan.com. Live in Jenison, Derek Francis, Fox 17 News.